Kaylie Eaves getting ready to go in. Kayla, your time starts now. There we go. So now Kayla's wearing a microphone, and she's being judged on her ability to communicate today, among other things, so I'm going to let her kind of have it for a few minutes.
So he's a little upset because he's away from his friends, so I'm just going to try to be as calm as possible. Let him check me out. Good boy. Hi. And I'm going to focus on my breathing, so you guys might hear me breathe a lot. Good boy. Yeah. Good job.
Kaylee, I got your name wrong. I apologize. They've corrected me. It is Kaylee, not Kayla.
Oh, I didn't even hear it.
Well, everybody else did.
Good boy. Good job. Okay. So right then, I just wanted him to move his feet. I don't want him to overthink and stand completely still because horses are flight animals. So he needs to be moving to get his brain moving too and thinking. Good boy. It's okay. Good job. So when I take some steps back, I'm trying to draw his attention to me. When he starts looking for his buddies, I want him to pay attention to me, like rely on me. I'm your new herd mate. Away.
Well, you're watching this from the stands. Think about this. Just take a job you do every day at home, and then just put a window into your house and let a couple hundred people come stand and stare at you while you do it. And then add a couple of, 5 of these judges. You'll notice over the week I don't have a whole lot of sympathy for the judges. I have a lot of respect for our judges panel. We have an amazing judges panel here, but I don't have any sympathy for our judges panel. So you put these 5 guys out here scaring her to death, and you can imagine about what it's like to be in these kids' shoes. Part of the reason you'll notice I don't have any sympathy for them, they all get these really nice high back chairs with leg rest. They bring me a stool. I've told all of these competitors, don't feel bad about interrupting me and talking over the top of me. If you've got something to say and I'm talking, just go do it. But as you guys watch, you're going to see 3 different approaches to the same thing, right? You're going to see 3 different people do things completely different as they strive to develop a relationship between them and the horse that makes for a safe partnership that ends up in enjoyable riding.
So just then, when I put the halter on him, he's obviously been haltered before, but I want him to lower his head into the nose band part of the halter. I want it to be his idea. I don't want to just put it on his face quickly. I'm also going to ask him to bring his jaw towards me and help him lower his head because he's obviously anxious. He wants to be with his friends. So every time he starts to look to the crowd or look for his friends, I'm just going to ask him to bring his nose to me like, hey, right here. This is safe, right here. I know. Good boy. Good boy. And he willingly brought his nose to me, so I'm going to go ahead and tie the lead rope. Good job. Good job.
Through this life we've labored hard to earn our meager fare. It's brought us trim.
In the early moments of working in the round pen like this, each of these competitors has so much going on. We talk in the judges meeting in the morning, time management is really what this competition is all about. It's really not as much about horsemanship, even though we'd like to believe it is, as much as it is how much you manage your time. Each of them is qualified to be here. Each of them is an amazing colt starter on their own, or they wouldn't be here in the first place. So it's really not a chance to determine if they're good at their job or not. It's really how well do they manage their time, how much do they accomplish as they build the relationship, and how good is the relationship they've built. That's really what they're competing on here. That's not on the score sheet anywhere. That's just the reality of what's going on.
I could tell when I first started working with him, he didn't want to have me on his right-hand side. So when I had the opportunity, I asked him to go to the right. And now I'm just trying to get him used to me being on his offside. Good boy. I'm also trying to keep my body calm and slow. I'm not necessarily asking him to trot, but I would really like if he would start looking to the inside and looking at me. He's still looking out to the outside. I mean, this is really scary for him. He's away from his friends, and he's got to learn he can trust me. Got it.
One of the rules they all have to observe is they have a mandatory 5-minute break in their time slot here. They can take it at any time, but they do have to take that break. At some point, they can't take it in the first few minutes, and they can't take it in the last 5 minutes. So she's moved beyond that point. She's 10 minutes in now, so she can use that 5-minute break anytime, any place that she wants to, except the last 5 minutes. Now, Kaylie, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe last year I spoke to you for a couple of hours after the event was over and you were asking how to get into an event like this. Is that correct?
Correct, yes.
Well, what did you do?
I took a bunch of notes, and I still have the notes in my phone. And then right after I talked to you, I went and signed up for this. And then I met you again at Equine Affair and asked for more advice and said I actually got into the event. And you gave me 3 advice.
That wasn't the part I wanted to know.
Yeah.
Don't tell people I gave you free advice. They'll all come
no,
asking
no.
for
You
the
gave
same.
me
No, I
3.
charged you a lot of money for that advice.
No,
A
you
lot.
gave me 3 advice. 3.
Yeah. No, what I wanted to know is what did you do to get signed up? Tell us while you're working that horse. What did you do to get signed up?
Well, first of all, the whole reason I knew about this event, was I bought an off-the-track thoroughbred from this lady, and she told me that I needed to sign up for this Colt Starting clinic, or competition. And I was like, what is, I've never even heard of it. This was like shortly after I moved here from Michigan. Good boy. And so then I came just for the auction, and on my way here, my mentor told me about you, and he was like, oh, Ken's gonna be there, you gotta talk to him. And so that's how I talked to you, and that's how I got to be here. And then right after I talked to you, I signed up. And I just filled out a form. I think it was at that table right over there. Good.
And from that form, they put you in the selection process and you got chosen.
Yes.
Okay. That's what I didn't know.
Oh.
You're making me guess for details here.
I think they had correct me if I'm wrong, but they had 10 trainers, and then I got put into a hat, and then they had the drawing on Facebook.
What you will learn about me is that I don't know any of those details. They don't tell me any of the good stuff. They just bring me here to stand out here and talk. They don't let me know anything that's really going on.
Good. There we go.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks. Joe's over there. Joe Coulter tells me you can sit on your little bench. Great, I've been benched.
Good.
Now you know what my sports career would have looked like in high school had I had one. Just sitting on the bench. So I told you there's 5 judges here, but that's really not true. Each of you that is here is a judge, right? So you're going to sit through all of these sessions. Okay, how many of you are going to sit through all 3 days of this? Yeah, most of you. That makes you all judges. So I want to tell you, when you hear the judges' scores read off, feel free to let them know you didn't agree with them. Like, if you want their addresses or Facebook or anything like that, I can provide that. Or you can just vocalize it from where you're at there. You can just boo them and let them know you don't agree with them because you are all judges. You are watching this, and I want you guys keeping score. And what I think we should do, this is really impromptu. I could get in trouble for this one. What I think we should do is score the judges. I think we should have a judging competition, right? This is a judges' Colt Starting competition. You guys all become the judges. You keep score, and then we will award the winning judge, and the rest of them we will boo out of town. We will not award them money. That's a payoff. We can't do that, Jesse. Oh, my word, I can't believe you went there. So I have been blessed because I know these judges well. Some of them I've known a long time. I've known Terry Myers since before any of you ever heard my name.
My goodness.
And I've known Jesse Westfall almost that long, maybe that long. And BJ I've known for a long, long time. Not as long as Terry and Jesse, because he's not as old as Terry and Jesse. Terry helped Noah load the ark, and Jesse was there to unload it. So they were around for that. But these other two guys are kind of newer faces in the last couple of years, so I'm a little casual about picking on them. Besides that, if you notice, I don't want to pick on Jake too much. He's big enough to fight grizzly bears with a toothpick, and I'm afraid he can outrun me, so I'm just going to say nice things to him and kind of let it go from there.
Almost have it. There you go. Good.
So I want you to be asking yourself while she's working,
Good job, buddy.
what would I be doing? And I want you to be asking yourself, would I be where she's at? That's how you develop your scores.
No.
Now, I think one of the things that's hard for our competitors is at home, they talk to themselves and their horses.
Yep.
As a trainer, we all talk to ourselves, and then when we get in public, people look at us strangely. And it's not so bad when you talk to yourself as it is when you start answering, which I do frequently. But we don't really talk to the audience when we're at home. That's not what we're really doing, right? And so we get in this pen, and it's hard to remember that that's actually a part of what we're doing here. I tell people all the time, when you hear me get quiet on the microphone, it's because I'm really focused. I'm really, really focused, right? Well, that's because I talk nonstop all the time. But these guys, it's a little tougher, and that's one of the elements they're being judged on, is how much they communicate with you, how much they talk to you about what's going on. That was a not so gentle reminder.
So right now, his head's too high. He's scared, so I'm just going to put some pressure underneath his chin and kind of ask him to lower his head. And I'm going to ignore him calling for his friends and just try to stay focused on what what I'm working on. There. He's starting to lower his head and licking and chewing. I know. There, good boy. Good boy. Yeah.
Lou Starrett and I were talking this morning about the development of movements and how a movement is a group of
What?
people frequently led
I have the brush.
by one or two people at the top of the movement. Go back in Colt Starting 40 years, 35 years, it didn't look like this. 35 years ago, Colt starters were not 110-pound women. Right? They just really weren't. I'm not saying there wasn't some 110-pound women starting colts. Don't get me wrong. Don't anybody shoot me yet. I'm saying they weren't common.
I left my gun at home, so I won't.
Thank you. I was nervous there for a moment. The reality is, colt starting didn't have to always be rough, but sort of with the invent of the car, lots of our families threw away age-old knowledge that we had. None of this is new. None of us reinvented the wheel. Alexander the Great knew the same things that you're seeing Kaylie do. But it kind of went away for several decades. It just wasn't common. And then we saw the horsemanship movement that took off in the 80s and became huge in the 90s and has continued to grow and grow and grow since then. And it's really cool to watch the difference in where we go with horses today. The things that we accomplish today in a short amount of time that just weren't common at that time.
Good job. So right now I'm feeling all over him, getting him used to me touching him all over. Because if I was just to grab the saddle pad and just start flinging it around, that's going to scare him. So I want him getting used to me just touching him everywhere. I'm especially touching around his girth area so he can get used to something and pressure being right there for when I put the girth on. I'm also picking up his feet because I was always taught before you even get on a horse, you should be able to pick up their feet because they need their feet trimmed. And I'm sure the farriers appreciate when the horse knows how to pick up their feet. I also earlier, while Ken was talking and I was distracted, was working on getting him to bend his head on both sides so he gets used to steering for when I get on him later. He smells like a cow. Yeah. No eating the microphone. Good. Very nice. So when I asked him to pick up his foot, I'm giving him a lot of warnings and rubbing my hand down his leg. And then when I get down to about his hock, I was holding right here, but that wasn't really getting his attention, so I kind of tickled the back of his foot here. Of course, now he's not going to do it. There we go. That was a try, so I'll let him have that. He's a little tense still.
Reuben, you can see what happens if you lose road to the horse. They demote you to water boy.
Did you ask me a question?
No, I did not.
Okay, I could not hear anything. Good, there we go. All right, I think I'm going to take my 5-minute break and let him have some water before I get into the scary stuff.
Okay. That 5-minute break will begin when you step out the gate.
Okay. Do I just leave the halter and later
You
up
do
on?
whatever you want to.
Okay.
That is completely up to you.
Good boy. Oh, it did get stuck on something.
Okay, 5-minute break starts now. So, tell us a little bit where you think you are. Don't shut that off. You don't get any moment's peace.
Oh no, I'm fixing the
Okay.
wire here.
Tell us how you think it's going.
I feel better than when I got here earlier.
You feel better than when you got here earlier.
Yeah.
Okay, why?
Because talking with all of you guys helped me feel confident about coming in here and that this is a great learning experience. And I'm putting more of the pressure on myself than other people. So also, meeting him was really cool before coming in here. Just watching him in his stall. He was the only one eating. The rest weren't really eating, so I was like, well, I want him to have food in his stomach, because I don't want him getting super stressed out. And then he seemed pretty curious about people, even when he came out here, and then checking out all the stuff on the fence line. So he was my first pick, so I was really glad that I got to pick first. And he's number 1, too.
Wow, look at that. You got to pick first. He was your first pick, and he's number 1.
Yes.
Have you named him yet?
No, not
You should
yet.
probably try like Uno.
No. That's one thing. I had other horses on my list named, but I did not have a name picked out for him yet. He did come with a name, though. I learned that from his owner. His name's Chevy, so I'm probably
Chevy?
just going to stick with Chevy. Yeah.
Do not tell the Dodge and Ford people in the building that Chevy is number 1. We'll
I
have
have
a problem.
my boyfriend has a Ram truck, and I have a Chevy Trax.
Oh,
So
heck.
yeah.
Your boyfriend has a Ram truck. You have a Chevy. Yep. All right. Good deal. Well, I'm going to leave you have a couple minutes rest.
Awesome.
And I'll. So as we're watching this, you guys, there's so much going on. You know, and she said, I'm feeling better than I was when I came in. I can tell you from personal experience, those first few minutes are really crucial, right? And you don't want to come out of the pen not feeling good. That's not a good feeling, right? I've had that happen. I've come out of the pen and had my 2 sons, who are ever so helpful, look at me and say, what were you doing? That was terrible. That's not the way you want to come out of the pen. You want to come out of the pen saying, I feel better than I went in, because there's so much there that your nerves affect the horse, right? Your voice affects the horse. Those of you that drive every day know you don't have to be touching the horse with your body to be scaring him with your presence, right? So if you're coming out of that pen nervous and scared, things are not going good. You want to be able to come out of there feeling good about all that's going on and the relationship that you're building. So she took a break right at 24 minutes and 20 seconds. So she's kind of got an hour left, right? That's roughly, she's got an hour and 30 seconds left of time to work. And that's where you want to figure out, that's time management. What am I going to get done in the next hour to help the judges determine that I'm the best there is here today, right? And that's really all we're judging. We're not judging you're the best there is. We're judging you're the best there is here this weekend. Like, you and your horse connected the best. That's what it's really all about. It's not anybody can win. That's the reality. You can pick a horse that you think is great and he's not, right? That can happen. You can be doing really, really good, and then all of a sudden you hit a wall that you weren't expecting. There's so many variables that it's not who's the best, it's who had the best time, the best go this weekend. Jesse and I were talking about it earlier. I really maintain there's not a great, fair way to judge colt starting. There's just really not, because, I mean, you judge it as fair as you can, but there's always, it's not like we all got the same horse. You can't do that. We can't start this horse 3 different times and see who did the best job with him. That won't work. That would be a fair way to do it, but you can't do that. So that's really what's going on, is we all come together here to watch and see where we are. You have 30 seconds of your break remaining. $15 seconds of your break remaining.
Ooh.
Now, there is no penalty for taking too long of a break. Your break ends now. There is a penalty for going over time at the end. They're given an hour and 25 minutes total. It looks like an hour and a half, but they have this mandatory 5-minute break. So they're given an hour and 25 minutes total working time. There is a penalty if they go over. There is a 10-point per judge penalty for going over by 5 seconds. Yeah, 5 seconds. And I think that's really crucial that you understand that everybody's given the exact same amount of time. So if you can't manage your time, you're going to get penalized 10 points per judge. The way the judging works is we have 5 judges, and we assume that one judge is going to like your style better than the other judges. And so they're going to score you better than the other judges. So we throw their score away. We assume that one judge is not going to like you at all. They're offended by whatever you do, and they're going to hate you, and so they're going to score you worse than all the other judges, and we throw their score away. And we keep the 3 scores in the middle that are the closest together, because they're the panel of judges most closely hooked together to judge you fairly. And we do that with each trainer. So normally, you're going to find Judge A gets kicked out on one rider, and Judge D gets kicked out on another rider. And so that's the way it happens, right?
So my pen wrangler asked me a good question, why I left the halter and lead rope on. 1, to save time, but 2, I wanted to see how he reacted when he stepped on the rope, if he was going to pull back and freak out and panic. And he actually, the halter got a little loose and it got stuck in his mouth, and he didn't panic too much. He kind of thought through it and spit it out, which I like to see. Because accidents happen, horses are going to step on their rope, people leave their rope too long, and I just wanted to see how he'd react to that kind of pressure, if he was going to give to the pressure or just panic. So right now I'm trying to work on his changing the gaits, going in to walk trot, and then next would be loping. But I don't want to just start driving him fast. I would really like, see how he's stretching his neck down? I would really like him to get comfortable and confident, not having his head super high. Good boy. So that way when he goes into a canter or a lope, that he'll feel more balanced. Good boy. So he started a speed trot, so I'm going to bring him back down to a nice solid trot. When I'm also asking for a lope, my stick that I have in my hand now is an extension of my arm, and I want the energy of the stick to match my energy and the energy that I'm asking from the horse. So I'm trying to keep it in rhythm. Horses have a 4-beat walk and a 2-beat trot, and so right now, when I'm asking for the trot, I'm counting to myself 1, 2, 1, 2. And if I make that really fast, then he's going to speed up. If I make it a little bit more steady, he's going to stay steady. Man, the sand is deep.
I noticed that myself earlier. There's no shortage of sand out here.
No. I'm getting a workout in here. Good. Ooh. So I didn't ask for him to switch in, or to line up to me, but I'm hoping he really doesn't want to turn to the left and have me on his right-hand side. I'm going to get away from the panel for safety for myself. Draw him towards me. I'm opening up my right arm, and he's not really wanting to draw his nose to the left, so I'm going to stop, There we go. There, thank you. So I gave him all the warning signs like, hey, let's go to the right, let's go to the right. And he really wasn't paying attention, so he ran into the stick and spooked himself and went to the right. Good boy. And it's important for horses to learn on both sides, because when I go to get on him, my leg's going to swing over to this side. I'm going to ask him to steer to the right and to the left. But he already seems pretty confident on the left. Good. So right now when I'm asking him to stop, I'm keeping my body still, and then I have my hand purposely on the rope, how I'm going to hold the reins. And so when I close my hand, that's me asking to stop. And he wasn't really paying attention, he was calling to his friends, but then he eventually did stop. So right here, I'm just going to let him think about what I'm asking. Oop. There's a good boy. I could have forced him to go to the other direction, but I want him to use his brain and think about the directions that I'm giving him instead of just reacting. So right here, I'm going to ask for a stop. Good, that was much better. Good. So again, I asked for a stop, so I got really still, took out a deep breath, closed my hand on the rope, and just waited, and he eventually came. All right, I'm gonna bring the obstacles in before I put the saddle pad on, because I want him to get used to them just being in here while we're working, so he can get curious about it and check it out. Or eat it. Good job.
One of the changes in the rules this year is that they can actually have their pen wrangler come into the pen for a total of 10 minutes of time. Pen wrangler cannot touch the horse in any way, but they can assist from a distance in anything they're doing. But they cannot touch the horse or use a tool to touch the horse. So that's one of the new rules this year that I think is a handy rule.
So when I'm introducing these obstacles to him, I want it to be not super scary and in his face. So I'm holding on to it and having him follow it. So he's kind of like the one chasing the obstacle and it not coming directly at him. So we went the other way a couple times, so I'm going to switch directions. Good boy. Have him get used to me up on something taller since I'm so short. Good boy.
Reuben wouldn't have to do that. He'd just stand there and be that tall.
I always incorporate the mounting block in training colts because I'm training horses for other people, and a lot of my clients, they use mounting blocks, and I think it's important that horses learn how to line up to a fence panel, a log, a mounting block, something other than just getting on from the ground, because not everybody can do that. Oh, much better switching directions. So now I'm going to ask him to kind of stay a little bit. It's okay. Yeah. Stay a little bit further away from me instead of just following me. See how he feels and checks those things out without me just being right in front of him, because horses tend to follow the leader. But if I want to build up his confidence to try to do things without me, I'll be right here for guidance, but he can be a little bit more confident by himself. Good. Now you're thirsty. I really like that he's paying attention to my body language now. Good. I don't know if you could see, but he kind of grabbed the tarp in his mouth. Good.
You're going to hear things from me on each person that I like. I refrain from saying the ones I don't like, but you know what I like that I'm seeing right now? You notice how casual she is about everything? She's just kind of walking along, drops the tarp, keeps walking, the horse walks across it. She doesn't make a big deal about anything. She's just really casual about what she's doing. Almost like the rest of us aren't here and she's not really even at work. She's just having fun with her horse. I love the way she's getting things done.
Thank you. So when I first brought the saddle pad in, I let him sniff it, and thankfully it smells like other horses. Usually that helps horses calm down a little bit. They're like, oh, it smells like another horse. Yeah, good boy. No eating it. Good job. So I started off slow and a little bit more soft with the saddle pad, and then I'm going to start off over here now and bring it up and be a little bit more assertive with it. Slide it all around on him. Because again, accidents happen. Not everybody, can put it on so gracefully. I have my bad days too where I fumble with my stuff. Now I'm going to switch to this side. Let him sniff it. Good job. See right there, I fumbled a little bit. He didn't know how to feel about it, so I'm just going to stay calm. Good job. Yeah. And the reason why I put the saddle pad on both sides is because I really want him to get used to using both sides of his brain and both sides of his body. Because life is not predictable. So he sniffed it and checked it out and calmed back down, so I'm gonna walk back over to our comfortable area.
You have 45 minutes remaining, complete time, 45 minutes left.
You can go ahead and set the saddle on the fence. Good boy. You can check it out. So I started with my smaller saddle. I've had this saddle since I was 13 years old. And this is what I usually put on the youngsters because it's been through a lot. And then I have my nicer saddle with me, but it's way heavier than this one, and I didn't know what size horse I was getting. And being nervous in front of a crowd, I didn't want to drop my saddle. No. So I don't know if you guys can see, but he keeps trying to eat the things.
That would be kind of a rookie mistake to drop your saddle, wouldn't it?
Yes.
So don't do that. I don't want to add any pressure, but don't do that.
There you go. I really like how he's giving me his jaw when I ask for it now instead of having to really think about it. I might just walk away with the saddle pad on for a second. I told myself when I came out here, just don't forget to pick up his feet. But one thing I did forget is to work on asking him to back up a little bit. So I'm just going to ask him to lower his head. And I'm going to keep the saddle pad on because he doesn't seem to mind it. Ask him to lower his head again. He's looking for his friends. Good, there we go. And the reason why I ask him to lower his head first before I ask him to back up is if you ask a horse to back up and their head's super high, they can lock up their back and then that hollows out their back. And then you're trying to ask them to back up and they just get stuck. And that's a good way for horses to, one, build improper muscling, but also not really enjoy backing up. So I like how he lowered his head just now. So now I'm just going to ask pressure. Good. And that took, I just literally pinched the rope and he just took one step back, so I released. Good boy. Let's bring your head back down. He's starting to tune out. There we go. Good. Good job. So he needed a little help there. He got a little stuck, so I just put my hand gently on his shoulder. And he was like, oh, okay. Good job, buddy. All right, back to the saddle. I'm going to move this out of the way. So I don't really want to let go of the rope, but I want to have a hold of it just in case I need to redirect him when I go to put the saddle on. So I have it folded in half and draped across my arm, not wrapped around my arm for safety. In case he was to take off, that's a good way to lose an arm. Good boy. Oh, wonderful. Good job. I really like that he's checking in with me. He keeps kind of like bringing his nose towards me, checking out what I'm doing. I definitely had this girth on a bigger horse yesterday, so I gotta adjust my girth size so it fits him. I like that he's checking out the stirrups. Ooh, sorry. Good job. So another thing I do is I reached under quite a few times in the beginning. Was petting right here. Now I'm just letting him check it out and feel that pressure here, but I'm not putting like a lot of pressure because I don't want to just scare him and think that he needs to run off with the saddle. And then when I'm tightening the girth, I'm kind of jiggling it so he feels that there. Good job. Yeah. That grabbed the He just grabbed my wire for the microphone. So I don't normally tighten the girth all the way either. I want it enough where he feels it, but not too much where he gets, good job, worked up about it. And then once I do have a saddle on, I'm just gonna lead him. We already worked on leading. So I'm doing something he's comfortable with, he's confident with, he knows how to lead. So when I have the saddle on, I'm gonna just do what we normally do. So he can just get used to that being on him. Like it's just like every day. Good job, buddy. Good. I make sure when I go over the obstacles too, I'm not trying to be too gentle and quiet because again, life doesn't work the way we want it to. So I'm trying to be a little bit more energetic with my energy. He didn't like it that time. Yeah, there you go. So just then, when he put one foot on, I paused and waited for him. I had just a little bit of pressure on here, like to remind him to follow me. But I waited so he could think about it. Good. You'll have to get wireless microphones.
You three guys in the top row who all just said she should jump on right now, she's taking volunteers.
Yeah, you come get on. Good boy. I really like when he goes in between the panels and the mounting block. He's a little cautious, but he's not just like rushing through because that's scary for horses, feeling trapped in between something. Good job. There you go. Very nice. All right, I'll have the side pull. With the reins. Back up. Thank you. We'll have this more organized tomorrow, right?
One of the most difficult things for me at this event is not joining in singing with their choice of music. But if I did, you would all leave. They choose the best music here. If you notice, every year I sit here. I've been here 5 out of the 6 years. And every year I sit here and think, my goodness, they never choose a bad song. Never. They should have one bad song by accident. Their music, man, is amazing.
So right now I'm putting the reins around his neck. One to keep him organized, and then I have something to hold on to once I take his halter off. Just in case he decided to walk away. Good boy. So he was about to get a little worked up there, but I just asked him to bring his jaw back to me, and he came right back. Good boy. The problem with, not knowing what size horse you were going to have is I use this on all the training horses I have come in. And I had it on a pony yesterday. So it's a little, oh no, hold on. No, I had it on a bigger horse yesterday. So it's a little loose on him, so I'm just going to tighten it up. Because if you don't have proper tack fit, that's scary. So just then he wanted to take a couple steps. I really didn't want to get after him for walking because I don't want to ever stop forward motion. He already seems like a type who might get a little stuck if he's unsure. I don't need that. Thank you. Good job. So I have a new piece of equipment on him, on his head. He was used to the rope halter. So now I'm just going to do what I did in the beginning, asking him to turn his head, but have this new equipment on him so he can feel what that pressure feels like. Oh, good boy. He started to give, got a little distracted there, so I just held. Very good. Good. Again, this side, for a little pressure. Good job, buddy.
All of you who have been thinking about breeding your favorite mare next year, just buy one of these colts, take it home. You'll be 3 years ahead of yourself. Maybe started, maybe not, depending on which one you buy. My goodness, if they all have dispositions like this, you're going to be money in the bank, know what you got. What a nice colt. One of the things about being a colt starter is there's only 2 kinds of colt starters in the world. There's the people that come up to you and say, wow, that colt was so amazing. What a nice colt. And then there's the other times people come up to you and say, man, you sure screwed that one up. They never say, wow, you did a really good job with that colt. Nope, they either say, wow, he was a nice horse, or you sure screwed that one up.
So I'm playing around with the stirrups so that way he gets used to them flapping around right here and it hitting his sides, because when I go to get on, he's going to feel that. And just then I tightened the girth a little bit and he didn't really seem to mind it. Another thing I did, I was purposely putting the stirrups on his side so he can feel that pressure and clucking at the same time. Good. And then I released when he started to walk forward, because when I go to get on him, how you ask a horse to go is putting leg pressure on to get him to move. So I want him to feel that all on the ground before I get on, so it doesn't scare him. all these ways I try to teach a horse on the ground before I get on, so that way we're prepared, in hopes that they don't freak out. Good boy. Nice. That time he left with his head low and his eyes soft, and I really liked that.
You have 30 minutes remaining. There are 30 minutes left in your session.
So now I'm trying to work on, one, lining up to the mounting block, but just letting him get used to me being up here. Good job. That's a bit better. It's funny how he went from not really wanting to move to moving just a little too much. So right here what I'm working on is when he takes one step forward, I'm just going to pinch the rein because that's all I want, and I'm letting him know, like, oh, you just have to take one step. You don't have to take 5. So right here I'm just going to add a little bit of pressure. Good. And then I picked up on the rein and pinched, and he took 2 steps. Good job. I really like that he doesn't seem to mind me jiggling around up here. He's calm and relaxed, so I'm going to walk away, let him have a little time to think about that. And then while he's doing that, I might check the girth to make sure it's tight enough. I can cut one more hole. Thank you. Good job. So I tightened it one more hole, let him walk around, feel that a little bit again. I'm also patting the top of the saddle because when I land on the saddle, it might make a noise, and I just want him to get used to noises behind his head. Good. That's a better stop. Good job, buddy. He didn't line up perfect, but I'm gonna take that. And now that he's getting the mounting block down and he's feeling comfortable with it, I'm just gonna put weight in the stirrup with my hands, get him used to that. Good job. He really likes to put things in his mouth. Instead of just yanking it out of his mouth, I just asked him to go forward, get his mind on something else. Good. Very nice. Good boy. So now I'm taking my split rein and bringing it over his back and letting him get used to things. I didn't really mean to slam it down on that hard that time, but again, things happen. So I just try to stay calm and be that calming presence for him to rely on me when something is scary. But my leg's gonna go over right there. So he's gotta get used to things going over the top of him. Good boy, there we go. Good job. Good, much better that time. Good boy. Good job.
Mercy, hope, and favor, amazing grace and love, given by my Savior, shining down from above. I'm thankful.
So every time he takes something that I throw at him good, I want to not just stand there and keep working on it. I want him to move his feet, move around, and kind of process that information. So that's why I walk away and then come back, walk away and come back. I want him to enjoy what we're doing and not just kind of shut down and just go with the flow. Good job. Good boy. Good job. Good. So now that I'm up here, I'm going to ask the same thing, ask him to bend his head to me. Good boy. Good job. Do the same thing on the other side. Good. And the reason why I want to try this on both sides is one, I already know he's a little skittish on this side, so I want to get him used to things, just me being over here on this side, and I'm going to ask him to bend his head to the right over here too, to prep for steering for when I'm under saddle. There you go.
Words fall short in times like these. This world
job. Very good.
We watch these guys in their approach, and right now we're focused 100% on Kaylie, and we'll see the other two come in as they come in with their draws, and you'll get to start seeing the difference. And today, I think, almost more than any other day, you see dramatic differences today. And then what I love is on Friday when you see how similar they are and how the differences, we kind of separated and came back together. We all start with an unbroke colt, and we end up with an unbroke colt. And then the fun part is you'll get to watch Lou tonight
What time?
and get
20 minutes?
another approach to it. So you really are going to see quite a difference over the weekend. See where they go, where they end up, how it goes.
Come on, buddy. There we go. He's a little stuck. Good. Look at that. Good job, buddy. Good boy. Good boy.
One of the things that makes colt starting difficult as a viewer participated event is that for colt starting to be really good, it needs to be boring. If colt starting's exciting, it's not
Good
going good,
job.
right?
Good boy. Yeah. Good job. So when I got on him, I made sure to take a step like I wasn't going to get on, or like I was going to get on, but didn't get on it at first because I wanted to see how he reacted to that. And right now, I really like when I get on a horse and they don't just take off. I want him to process what I'm doing, feel that weight on his back. And I really like that he looked at me. Another thing I did when I got on was I shortened the rein that was closest to me. So if he was to walk off, he would run into that pressure and not just take off with me. Good job, buddy. Good job. Yeah. Look at you. Another thing I'm doing is I'm just like rubbing on his neck. I read before that when you rub on their withers, or not their withers, but right here on their neck where their hair meets, it's calming to them. And if you watch mares with their babies, they will groom them right there, and it's a relaxing thing for them. So I try to really rub right here when I get on them just to help them relax. And I really like that he's kind of getting curious about things going on, but he's not scared. He's just like, oh, this is all okay. And then if he takes a step, that's awesome.
You have 15 minutes remaining. There are 15 minutes left in this session.
Perfect. Good job, buddy. So now I'm gonna, okay. If he wants to walk, that's great. I'm gonna just let him walk. I like how his head is low and he's just checking it out. I'm not letting my reins be super long, but I don't want them to be super short either where he feels restricted. Good boy. So right here, I'm gonna adjust myself. Good job. I really like how he didn't react to that. Now I'm gonna ask him to bend his head to the right. See if he'll come. Just very gentle. Good job, buddy. Yeah. I'm up here. Good. Every time he looks to his friends, I'm just gonna ask for some pressure. Good job, buddy. Good job. Just like we did all on the ground. Just now I'm on his back.
When I was a young kid, an older cowboy told me one time, he said, Ken, there's only two reasons a colt goes to the bathroom when you're riding him. One is he's relaxed, and the other one is he's wanting something to be there for you to land in.
So now I'm going to ask with leg pressure for the first time. Good job. Good boy. Now we're going to turn to the left. Good job. Yeah, shake it out. Good boy. That's your own poop. Good boy. What time are we at? Good job. Good boy.
I give them the time at intervals, but they can ask at any time how much they have remaining.
Good. It's okay. Good job. Good job. So he keeps wanting to take me to his friends, so I'm trying to catch him before he goes over to the side of the round pen and steer him away. And he's definitely testing that pressure, but he eventually gives. And I'm just really glad that he's not getting upset when he feels that pressure, but that's because we worked on all the pressure on his face before we got on. Good boy. You can turn to the right now. There you go. Good job. Good. So again, he was about to catch to the right or to the left towards his buddies. Good boy. So I'm holding my pressure with my legs right now to move forward, and he's just thinking. And I'm asking him to move his head to the right or left to get him to walk, because if he got stuck and brought his head straight up, that's a great way for a horse to rear or buck and get upset and feel trapped, and I really don't want him to feel trapped. Good job, buddy. Yeah. Good. Nice.
Truth is harder than a lie.
Good boy.
Dark seems safer
Good
than
job.
light. Everyone has a heart that loves to hide. I'm a
Good.
mess and so are you. We build walls nobody can get through. Yeah, it may be hard, but the best
I asked for a backup, and he took a couple steps back,
ever do.
and then he paused and he started to lower his head and relax. So I felt that was a good time to get off. So I have plenty of time to grab all my stuff out of the pen and unsaddle before I run out of time. Oh, can you grab me my halter first? Good boy.
You have 10 minutes remaining in this session. There's 10 minutes left.
Perfect. Okay.
There is no penalty for ending early other than if the judges don't think you accomplished enough, you didn't use all of your time. There's no penalty for ending early.
Just take
And there's no penalty again for their pen wrangler being in the pen. They have 10 minutes to help with anything
that.
they want, and you can use that 10 minutes at any time. And so Kaylie's obviously using it to help clear the pen, and they have to have everything out of the pen, leave the halter and lead rope on the horse, all tack, everything has to be out of the pen. I'm going to remind the pen wrangler to take the bucket of water as well because it's included in everything.
So before I took the bridle off, I asked him to Don't leave the gate open, though. I asked him to lower his head first because one thing I cannot stand that a lot of people teach their horses is to just fling their head up when you're taking off their halter or lead rope or halter or bridle. So I really made sure to ask for him to lower his head first so that it makes it an easier bridling and unbridling experience. Thank you. Good job.
As much happens right now as has happened through the whole session. How you leave this horse has a whole lot to do with how he comes back to you tomorrow. What happens here in these few minutes is crucially important, and each one will have, again, a different way of what they want to do, what they want to accomplish in those last few minutes.
Ken, you and I were talking, or you and I have seen it a million times in these things, and she's done a great job. But, you know, remember that the judges were not looking specifically for the horse to be saddled. That's a huge plus. Remember just what you were talking about, Ken, the horse's demeanor at the end. That's one of the big judging points today, as Jesse told us in the beginning. They start these things out. They always have a way of leveling themselves off come day number 2 or 3.
Absolutely. You can watch things happen. And, yep, judging wasn't applied to the saddling. That's a bonus for tomorrow. It's not a score point today, so to speak. But certainly she got that done, and I know the others will strive for the same thing. But honestly, what you see happen here is the ebb and flow of all 3 trainers as they hit highs and lows throughout the process is what I think keeps it really exciting and interesting. Because as I said earlier, if horse training is exciting, you're doing something wrong. So the part that you're excited about is watching those differences and seeing the emotions come into play of each of the trainers, each of the horses. You really have 6 different mindsets and personalities that you're working with as you work through this. All right.
What? 5 minutes? Oh.
Oh yeah, you have actually 6 minutes
I
remaining.
thought you said come.
No, you have 6. I'll tell you when you're.
Oh, okay.
You have 6 minutes remaining.
Oh, boy.
Right. That has to be kind of a nice spot to be in right now.
Yes.
Tell us about that a little bit. Talk about it.
I'm just really glad that he started to calm down, and even though he's winning to his friends, he's able to focus on me and pay attention to me, and that's what I really enjoy working with horses, that I can bring a calm presence to them when they're getting worked up, and that has taken years of experience, just being able to take a deep breath and focus on the horse and just being calm for them and quiet for them, but not too calm where they are scared when you start to bring your energy up, but just enough that they can depend on you, because horses, when they're in herds, they have a leader, and if the leader is anxious, that they're not going to follow it. So just really
You have
glad
5 minutes remaining.
I was just really glad that I was able to bring that calm presence, even though I was nervous coming in here.
So you've got a little bit of time right now. Let's talk about your goals. Did you reach all of your goals for today?
Yes, I wanted to get on the first day, but at home, I don't normally get on the first day unless I feel like that horse is confident enough and competent enough that I can get on. So that was a huge step for me today, was to get on a horse that I've never met and just get on it for the first day. And I just really felt like he was chill with it, so I went for it, and I was just really happy that we even walked. I honestly didn't anticipate him walking. I thought he was going to be a horse that stood there and that I'd have to really encourage him to move, and that's where I was going to have the pen wrangler come in and kind of ask him from the ground to walk. But we didn't have to do that, so it was perfect to have her help me at the end grab all my stuff out.
What did he do that surprised you the most today?
Walk off from the mounting block
The
when I
walking?
got on, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Especially because when he was turned out here, he was running around, bucking, trying to look over the fence. So I definitely was shocked that he didn't get worked up once he felt that weight on his back.
You finished the first session more or less. You have 3.5 minutes remaining, but for all practical purposes, you finished. What do you feel like was the most surprising to you? What happened today that in the process, what was the most surprising piece for you?
Honestly, when he backed up under saddle when I asked him to for the first time, I was actually really surprised that he did that, because usually they get stuck. Even if they know how to back up on the ground really well, they get stuck and they're like, ooh, I don't know how I feel about that. And I barely had to ask him. I love how soft he is and that he can feel just a little bit of pressure and he gives to it. And he's like, yeah, I'll do it. But for the whole experience, what I'm surprised about was just how quiet the crowd was and respectful the crowd was. And I just really enjoyed all the judges' advice and your advice coming into here. It made me feel a lot more relaxed coming here, more encouraged to come in here. And also, the other competitors are super sweet, super nice, and that also helps when your competitors are encouraging you too.
Now remember, audience, she has to say nice things about the judges and to the judges, but you guys don't. That's just the way it works. She has to. So, good deal. He's looking fantastic. You have 2 minutes left to
I
kill
definitely
in
did
there.
not expect
You
to
do not
end
have
early
to do
either.
that. You can
Yeah.
leave the pen at any point that you want to.
Okay, I probably will leave at this point. He's very relaxed, and I think some of the best trainers are the ones who know when to walk away when they've accomplished what they needed to accomplish. So I will leave the pen.
Ladies and gentlemen, when she walks out that gate and closes the gate behind her, let's give Kaylie Eaves a big round of applause for a job well done. So Kaylie, we've finished your first session. Tell me where you are and where you think you're going to start tomorrow.
Where I'm at now is I looked back at the videos and some things that I feel like I missed and I want to touch on it tomorrow. And that's just I never got my rope out. And so I want to get him used to the rope. And then I would like for when I put the saddle on to have him canter under saddle without me on first, and then go over the obstacles under saddle for tomorrow as well, and getting him trotting and cantering.
So overall, you're happy with where you ended?
Yes, I'm actually really happy with where I ended today. Yeah,
Good.
I'm very confident about it.
He looked really nice.
Yes, I love how relaxed he was at the end. Like his head was low, and he was just hanging out with me, and it was just like, and he wasn't calling for his friends anymore. I really liked where I ended today.
So what does being in this competition mean to you?
I told myself at the beginning of this year I was going to go outside my comfort zone and go enter myself into some of these big shows, and so it means a lot to me to put myself out there and get in front of a crowd of people and just get my name out there.
And what's your purpose? I mean, get your name out there. Why?
Because I just started my business 3 years ago, and I want to continue doing what I'm passionate about, and I'm really passionate about colt starting. And I think an event like this will get my name out there for colt starting specifically. I've worked with a lot of problem horses, and my goal is to start a family soon, and I don't really think I should be working with problem horses, and I would like to continue with the colt starting because I really like it. I really enjoy it. I love the youngsters, and so this competition was to get my name out there and work with the colts. So
Neat.
yeah.
So if you're going to start a family soon, I mean, we all know you look like you're 12.
I'm 29 years old, almost 30, and I've gotten to the point where I feel confident in my business and in my name, and I'm ready to,
Put it out there.
put it out there. Yeah,
And let the whole world know who you are and what you're doing.
100%.
And where do they find you?
I have a Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. I've got it all. It's at Kaylie Eaves Horsemanship LLC.
Kaylie
Kaylie Eaves Horsemanship LLC.
LLC.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, good job today.
Thank you
Good
so
luck tomorrow.
Thank
Keep
you.
with it. Stay with the program. Trust the process.
Thank you.
And have a good time.
Thank you.